May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Honorable members, I would like to remind you that tomorrow, Tuesday, 16th, we will be hosting tomorrow, Wednesday. It's good Solo is here to remind us. We shall be hosting the Anti-Counterfeit Expo. The exhibition will be in the Parliamentary parking. Commencing at 10, I want to urge all of you to go and see what is there, especially when you have counterfeits. And you know what counterfeits do to our community. They affect the community, both in health-wise, economic, and it also affects us in our legislation. So I am requesting that you pass over and check what will be there at 10 tomorrow. Thank you. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have pupils and teachers of Namagunga Boarding Primary School, Kitende from Butsiro South, Wakiso. They are represented by Honorable Charles. Please stand. You're very smart. They are represented by Honorable Ethel Naluima Betty. Where is Ethel? Ethel is still busy working in the office and doing work for you, sister. Ethel is a very good girl. And Honorable Charles Matovu. Honorable Charles, Lope has deployed him to do some work. You are very good leaders. Sister, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Please join me in receiving them. Thank you. Have a seat. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have pupils and teachers from Nabumali Boarding Primary School, from Bunkoko Central, all the way. You're welcome, you're very smart, all the way from the land of Masaba. You're most welcome. And they are here, they are represented by Honorable Mariam Mukai and Honorable Wanda. Wanda, you first come and greet your children.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I take this opportunity to welcome you, Namali Boarding Primary School pupils and teachers, and I thank you for the great work you're doing in our region. I pray for success in the coming exams, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam. I delegated Mariam to do some work. They are very good people. As you go back, you tell those of daddy and mommy that we have good leaders. Next. You're on communication.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for your remarks. Madam Speaker, I just want to make an observation on behalf of the Committee of Environment and Natural Resources. We had a schedule for this week. That started yesterday. And today we were supposed to meet leadership from the Ministry of Energy. Madam Speaker, it was very unfortunate that a number of members of Parliament of the committee turned in for the meeting. Unfortunately, Minister of Water and Environment Unfortunately, when a majority of us had assembled, that was the time we got a communication that the Ministry of Water and Environment was not ready for the meeting. So we actually tasking the line ministries that when they are invited, they should not give a response on the day of the meeting, because they made us forego other programs. So that was the Ministry of Water and Environment, to the disappointment of the members of Natural Resources Committee. Thank you.
Whip.
Right Honorable Speaker, I did inform the leadership of all the sectoral committees handling rationalization bills that with effect from Tuesday, which is today, Parliament will be considering their respective reports. I am also here, as I have seen the order paper, to wait for the respective committees to start reporting on the 14 bills that were read for the first time and formally referred to the 6 committees of Parliament.
Is Honorable Byanyima here? Honorable members, how many times will you meet these committees? You had meetings with these people? The first time when we made the ad hoc committee, select committee, you again met these people when the bills were brought back. I get surprised when you say that these people are not available for meetings. Honorable Semuju.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I wanted to be helped. Committees do work on behalf of Parliament, and they are supposed to report within the timelines in the rules. They don't work on the orders of whips. The government whip has just told Parliament that I told the committee chairpersons of the 14 bills.
It's in procedure. Honorable members, it doesn't matter whether it is ordering, directing, or whichever, the whip of a political party has powers to ensure that his or her committees perform as required. Honorable Guzuli.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the reminder about the RAPEX. It has come to my notice that a number of the bills that were read for the first time here and committees are expected to report on were actually withdrawn the earlier time. The rules dictate that when a bill is withdrawn, it must be regazetted and then read for the first time. A number of those bills, if you look at them, the gazettement number is still the same one for the previous one. It means there has not been a regazettement. So you will need to guide us on how we will proceed on this matter so that we do not engage in futility. Because the committees may be processing bills that have not complied with procedures. 2, a number of the bills also were not signed. They were not signed, and ideally they should not have been admitted here for first reading. So this is an issue you may need to interrogate with your legal team and report on. Thank you.
Thank you. Eddie.
Right, Honorable Speaker and members, thank you very much. When these bills are returned to committees under Article 90, like where I am in Natural Resources Committee, the certificate of financial implication is defective. And secondly, when they were rationalizing, they never looked at what we call span of control, where they are taking NFA, there are already more than 10 departments, and they never provided for the structure how it will be absorbed. I thank you.
Honorable Guzile, the bills that were withdrawn in February. The Gazette will always have the Gazette number plus the date of Gazette. When you look at the Uganda National Swahili, it is Gazette number 41, and it was gazetted on 16th June. When you look at wait, and I get you the number. When you look at the Cotton Development Amendment Bill 2024, it is Gazette 36, and it was gazetted on 31st May 2024. When you look at the NADS bill, it is dated 31st May 2024. I can give you and you have a look at it. Look at the national, that is still Swahili. So these dates, these gazettes have dates, the recent dates. You want to have a look at it?
But before I have a look, in our current case, we should have 2 dates and 2 gazette numbers. One for the earlier one, which was withdrawn, and a new date and a gazette number for the bills which were now being reintroduced. So in a situation where we only have one, then there's a problem. And the Kiswahili bill you are alluding to is a new bill which was not one of the bills withdrawn.
Government.
Right Honorable Speaker, subject to final confirmation from the learned Attorney General, we were duly notified that all bills that were introduced for the first reading were gazetted as required by law.
Honorable members, let's now discuss that when we reach those bills. I have some very important issues. Taka.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise on a matter, an urgent matter of national importance concerning the state of Kampala Jinja Highway. Right Honorable Speaker, this road is a major route for our trade in the country.
Honorable Prime Minister, please.
However, it has been left in an appalling state with a lot of sections with potholes. I'm also concerned, Madam Speaker, that the maintenance works on sections of the road between Nakawa to Mukono have taken so many years. The works started around Weyogerere Mukono, I think during COVID in 2020. But up to today, the works are still going on. My prayers, Madam Speaker, are that the Minister of Works and Transport ensures that quick response on maintenance of the road, that there is a quick response on the maintenance of the road, especially covering the potholes along the road. The second prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, is that the Minister updates the House on the maintenance plan for the Kampala Jinja Highway, and then update the House on the status of the maintenance works between Nakawa Road to Mukono. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Prime Minister. the issue of the road, and you could also tell us what happened to the Kampala Jinja Express Highway.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm going to call Honorable Minister of Works to come here and give the status report of those roads tomorrow.
Honorable members, how many ministers are in works? Prime Minister, do you now advise us not to discuss anything in regard to works? Because the ministry is not represented.
Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Ocheru was before the committee. Honorable Katumba is out of the car. Honorable Echeru Musa. Echweru Musa. He was before the committee. General Katumba Wamala is out of the country. And I've not yet heard from the State Minister, Honorable Byamukama.
Can you call Honorable Ichweru to come and tell us what is happening with the roads? Let him leave. A committee will not sit when the house is sitting.
Much obliged, Right Honorable.
Yes, Whip.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, in your communication, I want to thank you for hosting the anti-counterfeit campaign here at Parliament. But, Madam Speaker, it is on record that the government withdrew that bill on anti-counterfeit goods bill, and twice. And even when a private member was allowed, he has always been frustrated. And I don't know now how far it has gone. The truth of the matter is that because of a lack of substantive law, compared to our neighbors, Uganda has become a destination for all manner of fakes, counterfeits. Particularly in pharmaceuticals. Our people, I'm reliably informed, are consuming all manner of counterfeit drugs. And that's why I think there are many disease complications that are coming up. Don't you think through this campaign, this anti-counterfeit campaign, Madam Speaker, you would use this moment to prevail over the government that seems to be in limbo with the bill to expeditiously revive it?
Can we hear from government? Because I remember Honorable Kiaga. Was it Honorable Kiaga? Okay. There was a bill which was brought on the floor and government took over the bill. Nothing has happened up to date. Hey, you are around. No. We need a response from.
Right Honorable Speaker, I have to call the Attorney General, who is not here right now, to inform us on the status of how or where that bill is and when it can be presented to Parliament.
Do we have only one Attorney General? Honorable members, we cannot have people from works, and yet there are issues of works which must be handled. We can't have an Attorney General. You have bills here that Attorney General is supposed to handle. How shall we proceed without Attorney General? Honorable members, I don't know how we are going to proceed, because I don't want tomorrow a bill to be passed. When a bill is passed, then they say they return back. Can I have the Attorney General
Right now.
in the House?
Right now.
And yesterday we said we needed a Minister of Finance in the House.
Yeah, right, Honorable Speaker. I've sent Chief Whip to check on the Attorney General and Minister of Works. So he's doing that.
We want a Minister of Finance in the House because we have a report in regard to finance.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, you first wait and we get the people we want.
Honorable
Yes,
Speaker.
one has arrived. Let's have finance.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. You see, the trouble, the Prime Minister has now turned herself like a post office. Because when you come here, you come with your team to transact business. But every minister let me call. Another minister let me call. So, Madam Speaker, for me the issue, if you
the
follow,
Prime Minister is not a post office. She's
no,
not
I mean,
a post office.
I am only saying that she is reducing herself into that by constantly pledging to call. But we need to deal with the most serious issue. If you follow the politics of Africa, you saw what happened in Zimbabwe when a 90-year-old Mugabe was in charge of a country. Things started crumbling. Because once the chief executive is too old, like the one we have, you will have these sorts of problems.
Honorable.
Okay, he's young.
Honorable Semuju. I don't know whether it is talking about the chief executive of the country that gives you votes. And if that's what gives you votes, then there's a problem in this country. But as far as we know and we see, our president is leading us very well. And he's not old. He's not old. What has he failed to do? Honorable members, in the VIP gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of members of staff. Honorable members, in the VIP gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of members of staff from Parliament of Ghana. They include Mrs. Evelyn Brefo, Assistant Deputy Clerk, Parliamentary Proceeding Division. Most welcome. Ms. Sheba Nana. Ms. Sheba Nana is a Senior Principal Assistant Clerk. You're most welcome to Parliament of Uganda. You're welcome. Join me in welcoming them. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and teachers from Biogere Rep Secondary School from Kira Municipality, Wakiso District. You're most welcome. They are represented by a very good member of parliament who loves President Museveni. Honorable Semuju Ibrahim Nganda, and Honorable Ethel Nalima. Honorable Semuju there is a Halhaj and is a very good person. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have students of Makerere University School of Social Works and Social Administration from Kampala Central, Kampala District. They are represented by Honorable Nsereko Mohammadi. Where is Mehdi? Mehdi is a very good legislator. Lady of delegate is praying. He has gone for prayers. And Honorable Malende, who is also working. She has also gone to pray. Honorable members, we had an item that was pending on Honorable Echuero. There was an item pending that we needed. Can you repeat your question? Let's be orderly. Yes?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the matter was about the state of the Kampala Ginger Highway. It is filled with a lot of potholes, and where they've tried to do maintenance between Nakawa and Mukono, the works have taken so many years. I don't know how long it takes to do that section of the road, Madam Speaker. And my prayers were that the minister updates the House on the maintenance works between Nakawa and Mukono, but also updates the House on the maintenance plan of the Kampala Ginger Highway, but still quickly respond by carrying out emergency works on the road by covering the potholes to allow a motorable state. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. And still on that, you need to give us a feedback on the Kampala Ginger Express Highway. That was funded. We don't know how far it has gone. And then there's also some Dennis, still on roads. I'm only taking roads.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
And be brief.
Right Honorable Speaker, in Katikam North County, all UNRA roads.
Honorable Aroboy.
All UNRA roads are in very bad state. Specifically, the road from UNRA roads, Katikam North County in Rural District. The road from Kasiso to Mazi, the road from Kasiso to Chichusa, and the road from Kasana to Lugogo, Nakaseke.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Pascal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to inform the House that the road from Puranga, Pajule, Acholibu, which is supposed to be on construction right now, is not yet being constructed. Worst of everything, Madam Speaker, the road right now is not passable. Traders, road users in general are stuck. Business is not going well in Acholi sub-region, most especially in the East Acholi sub-region. The Honorable Minister briefed me that the road from Puranga Pajule was to be constructed starting this financial year. But Madam Speaker, up to now, we still do not have any information regarding that road. My prayer, Madam Speaker, first, the Minister should direct team from UNRA to go and do maintenance. We have areas For example, from Mortuary, which is from the bridge. We have Ludel, which is around Pajule. And then we also have the one from Pajule. The three spots are making traders not to access the road or move. Secondly, the minister should confirm to us when will this road be constructed, or when are they commencing the construction of Puranga Pajule Acholibu Road.
Thank you. Maurice.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, in fact, the issue of roads, we are going to even distort your order paper, because it's a cross-cutting problem everywhere. Because the other day, Right Honorable Speaker, you remember the other day when Honorable Cheru was in, and I told Honorable Cheru, as you go to the roadblock in Mavira, as the colleague was saying, there is a spot, there is an area.
Rukungiri, stand up.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. You already ruled that we should raise our issues on roads. But the Honorable Member is saying it is going to distort your order paper. Is he in order?
You know, you never heard what he said because you're sitting down.
Thank you, Right Honorable. The other time we told you, Honorable Cheru, Right Honorable, as you go to the roadblock in Mavira, it's a very sensitive area. There is a roadblock, but that spot has been bad before even the NRM government came to power. It has failed to be put right. It has claimed lives. It's very dangerous. Every time when you reach there, you must first stop, and that is how these highway robber people come on the road, and they come and attack us. So we need the Honorable Musa, and Right Honorable, in addition, Honorable Musa Echeru came and he supervised the roads. We even reached your area. He led the delegation and we reached your area, and he promised that in 1 year, those roads were going to be worked on. It was even at night. He's there. We need him to give us feedback. Thank you.
I need a feedback on the road to my area. Mukono? Okay, Mitiana.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, the road of Mitiana, Kampala Road, within Mitiana Municipality, was begun in 2020. Up to date, they are still constructing that road. Yeah.
Kampala Mitiana.
Kampala Mitiana Mubende Road.
Mubende
Road.
Road.
Mitiana Municipality. It is under construction from 2020 up to this time. We are wondering, when are you concluding that road? Because it is too dusty and it is causing a lot of accidents. Please work on it. Tell us the date when you're finishing it.
And leave alone the dust, but it needs to be tarmacked. And it is causing a lot of accidents. That is all roads. Joanne.
Thank you.
Members.
Thank you.
Honorable members, can we agree? Can we agree that we agree that we first have a response on what has been raised, then all members who have issues on the roads, let's compile them together, give to the minister. On Thursday, he comes with a response on each of them. Joanne, and then we conclude.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think the issue of roads is also basically being affected by the lack of equipment in many of the districts and the cities, and this is causing connectivity have a very big challenge.
could the minister also update us on the state or on the issue of road equipments to many of these cities? Madam Speaker, imagine a regional city staying without a road equipment, and yet we have money to work on the roads, but we don't have these equipment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Information.
Madam Speaker.
Amos.
Thank you.
Then Honorable Days.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, every year on the 20th of October, every year, the people of Acholi land and the whole Uganda, the entire Uganda, the majority of people who are 99% almost Christians, they go to Paimol to celebrate and to pray on the, as a pilgrims, because we have two martyrs, Gildo Irwa and Dawood Okelo. And this coming Sunday on the 20th, many people are also they are going to move to Paimol for the same. But Madam Speaker, all the roads that leads to Paimol in Agago North, it is impossible. Whether you come from Karamoja side, you come from Kitgum side, from Padey side, Lera side, and Kitgum, all the roads are impassable. And this year, the celebration is going to be celebrated by the Diocese of Kotido. Madam Speaker, my request is the Minister of Works should take an urgent actions so that on the 20th people can reach and go and pray in Paimol shrines. This is my...
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Alex.
Thank you. Thank you. Right Honourable Speaker. I have...
Doug, we are happy you have come. We needed you so much. And birthday boy, happy birthday, Minister of Finance. Happy birthday. Please, yes.
Right Honourable Speaker. I have an issue of serious concern for my people regarding the results of the recently conducted housing and population census. Statistics. I'm aware that the Uganda Bureau of Statistics has admitted that there are some errors in the data recently released. I'm also aware that Ubosi has made commitments to make corrections to this data. However, we possibilities are worried for two reasons. First, several times government officials make general commitments regarding specific issues. They always forget to address the issues of possibilities whenever they are fulfilling those commitments. Therefore, we are here to appeal to this August House to ensure that in reviewing the data, Uganda Bureau of Statistics should be directed to ensure that the section on disability is taken into account. The second reason why we are here is because looking at the details of the errors, the gaps on disability are so huge. For instance, Right Honourable Speaker, the data says that in 2014, Uganda had 6.4 million possibilities, but in 2024, we have 3 million possibilities, meaning the population of possibilities has declined by 3.4 million. Right Honourable Speaker, the question is, where did the 3.4 million go? So this is why we appeal to
Thank you.
Right
Thank
Honourable
you.
Speaker, to
Thank
direct
you.
the
Can we
Uganda
have-
Bureau of Statistics to ensure that we get answers to these important questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I get a feedback from? By the way, members, you're forgetting matters of national importance are for Thursdays. Let's first hear from. We can have bit by bit. Today we have few. We cannot spend 2 hours in matters of national importance. Bit by bit, yes?
Right, Honorable Speaker, first of all, I start with an apology for coming a bit late. As you know, today the Committee of Fiscal Infrastructure was sitting, and my senior colleague had asked me, he's out of the country, so I'm the one holding fort. So I had to go and explain a few things to the committee. I'm happy finally I'm here. Right, Honorable Speaker, on the onset, we do acknowledge as a ministry that the state of roads across the country, especially very critical roads that link communities and link the country to other parts, needs urgent attention. And against that background, Right Honorable Speaker, I think I can have the permission on behalf of my senior colleagues to reveal to this Parliament that my ministry has been directed by Cabinet to take a list of roads on Monday, all those roads that have not been done and are mentioned in the manifesto of the President, and those, can you kindly, so we have been directed, I have been directed to take a list of those roads. Initially, the thinking of government was that because we didn't want to balloon the debt, we would have to go slow, particularly in bringing in new projects. But on critical analysis, Cabinet yesterday decided that on Monday, we take a list of those roads, those friends and comrades who were recently privileged to sit before in the meeting where actually the President made a presentation. They will remember clearly the number of roads that actually the President mentioned, and he repeated them yesterday, and therefore he wants me to take those roads on Monday, they are not few, and present to him and indicate the difficulties that have been encountered in implementing some of his directives and the directives of this Parliament. For example, if Parliament had said, we have passed a bill for Ginger Expressway, Kampala Ginger Expressway, and it is true that a loan has been passed, but there seems to have been a challenge in finding resources for compensating perhaps the people who are supposed to be affected by this project. We must indicate that, so that Cabinet will pronounce itself on Monday, and after pronouncing itself on Monday, then I will come again to fill this Parliament in on what we have discussed and resolved. And I can assure you, comrades, the thinking that I saw yesterday is that Cabinet is going to make a decision and get resources that will fix these roads once and for all. There also the emphasis, Right Honorable Speaker, we are a government, that's why we're here. Right Honorable Speaker, I am also aware that again the directive that we were given yesterday was that when we are making this presentation, what has been lacking so much is money for maintenance. Because we have done a number of roads, close to 6,000 kilometers now, but we have not put enough resources for the maintenance of these roads. So a directive was given that when we are coming to Cabinet, we must also provide for that so that the Cabinet will pronounce itself. That's first of all on Monday. So I wanted to beg on the onset, Right Honorable Speaker, that you allow my humble self to go on Monday, make that presentation.
So what are you going with on Monday?
Oh, all the roads that are critical, that must be fixed. Then present to Cabinet.
Where are you getting those roads?
We have the list. Right Honorable Speaker, we have the list.
Honorable Minister, as I said before, that all the members, including myself, who have roads that need to be worked on, if you have an example of the bridge between Bukede and Bulambuli where children have even died, in Kamutur, Mulambuli. Children have died. Nothing has been done. We only need a Maram bridge. We don't need even tamaking. So what we are saying, let's get all that written. I can compile all of them in writing, sign it off, and give it to the minister for Monday. All of it, I want, please, including the ferries. Let's simplify it that way. Let's go to the next item because, Jaja might need to go. But before Jaja goes, the potholes on, he's going to handle. They are going to be handled. There is a question that is raised by Alex. There is a question raised by Alex on the issues of census. Members, you first allow Alex to get a response. Government. Census.
Honorable Speaker, and dear colleagues, maybe before I go to the census, I want to give facts. When I entered this house, my colleague, that gentleman there, that member of parliament for Mitiana, that the road between Busega up to Mbende is a horrible road. No. I pass there every weekend. The road from Busega to Mitiana to a place called Narutuntu is beautiful road. It is only from Narutuntu, Kiganda, Kienda, Mubende. It is in sorrow state of disrepair. But the good news is that the contractor is on site. One time, no, please listen to me.
Honorable Minister, continue.
The contractor Enago project, we must admit there was a bit of a problem of advancing money to him. Now, that problem is completed. So, you will see in maybe about 3, 4, 5 months, those of you who use that road, you will see a difference.
Thank you.
Now, you asked me a question, Madam Speaker.
I didn't ask you, it was asked by a member. The House is asking you about the issue of the census.
Oh, the census?
Yes.
Madam Speaker and colleagues, no, I beg, we are preparing a statement. And therefore, I don't want to
Alex,
give you...
are you listening?
We are preparing a statement. Next week we'll be here with that statement so that we give you the full facts. Because now if I answer with this and that one, that's not good. So I beg your indulgence. Next week we'll be coming with that statement precisely to tell you what happened.
There is a procedure,
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, the issue of census is a serious one. Census data is what the government needs for planning. And if we look at how things run in this country,
a lot of things are going wrong because the decisions we make are based on opinion but not data.
Honorable.
For success of census exercise, you need political leadership. From the submissions of the Honorable Minister, I can see detach between the political leader and the technical people who implement these things. Yesterday, Madam Speaker.
Honorable, if I could cut you short. The minister has not made any statement on census. The minister is coming with a statement on census next week. Let's interrogate his statement next week. And maybe for members, originally we had said we will sit up to Friday, but we have agreed with Yala. Yala will be sitting in the morning. We shall be sitting in the afternoon.
Madam Speaker, can I make
in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and teachers from Light College, Katikamu Secondary School. They are represented by Honorable Nsobuga and Honorable Naluima Ethel. You're welcome. You're most welcome. You're very smart. Join me in welcoming them. So, Honorable Lee, let's get the report next week on census.
Madam Speaker, I take your guidance. My invite was that the committee responsible, the sectoral committee responsible, must actually examine this issue further. And they will, in that process, be able to interact with the...
After the report.
Okay, that makes sense. But the other issue I wanted to raise for your attention is also, the minister brought a treasury memorandum here in relation to the custodian board. And they have not implemented any of the proposed action points they brought here. Now we need to know why the minister is not taking action on the issue of custodian boards. Their properties they are supposed to deal in, they are not dealing in it. They are not accounting for the properties. We don't know what is in the accounts of the custodian board. There are a lot of issues which they are sitting on, and yet the laws empower him. He is here, you would, with your guidance, Madam Speaker, we need to understand from him why. Why are they not accounting to Ugandans on the issue of the custodian?
Honorable members, you're deviating me from the order paper. Next item. Let me have Lob. No, Lob is not from your side. Lob.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join you in wishing, you called him Jaja? Jaja Matia Kasaija, happy birthday. I don't know how many years he has made today, but I'm sure there are very many. And so we wish you...
He's just sweet 16.
Okay, so he's young. Honorable Speaker, the issue I want to raise actually falls within his docket. Yesterday I teased it out, but we agreed since there was absence of colleagues on the front bench. This side, we said let's tease it out today. In carrying out our critical mandate of oversight, keeping government in check, the entities we keep going to. So last week on Monday 7th, together with some colleagues, we went to Amuru district in northern Uganda to Atiak Sugar Factory. Good enough, they did welcome us, unlike Rocco, which I was giving you an update about. They took taxpayers' money, but they don't want to be held accountable. But that we shall probably pursue as we go along. But with specificity to Atiak Sugar Factory, there's a couple of concerns, Right Honorable Speaker, and hopefully the Minister of Finance and government generally can provide some answers. The taxpayer has so far injected 553.71 billion shillings into the Atiak Sugar Factory project. This is a project that excited many people because it sounded good, it set out well. Good for northern Uganda, people going to get jobs, good for Uganda generally. Along the way, there's too many unanswered questions that need answers because this is money too much. The factory is not operational, Honorable Speaker, over the years, and they are not sure when they will get to operate and produce sugar. They have their own concerns and frustrations as well towards government, just like we have our concerns about the project generally and government's involvement and all of that. Honorable Speaker, the company actually spends money on a daily basis, even though there's no sugar being produced, because they run machines.
Honorable Love.
Yes, right, Honorable Speaker.
How I wish you could give us the report of your tour from day, Atiak, Roko, where, so that it becomes part of the record of this house. And you will be able to respond to the issues that you're raising when it is a record on this house.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Actually, that's what I was planning, to do the comprehensive one, but I thought
you can even do in the video
out, very quickly some of these issues so that he prepares a response. So I wanted to give a 3-minute summary. I'll present the lengthy one for our records and all of that, but I thought I would tease these ones out, also for him to put his technical people on notice, to get him all the information that he requires. It will just take 3 minutes, Right Honorable Speaker. Now, the company is frustrated because UDC's presence seems to be absent, because UDC is there on our behalf. They are saying we don't see them, we don't know what's happening. They say they don't have raw materials. They are looking to having all the machinery present for them to be able to operate. One of the questions that the minister needs to answer: does government actually have shares in this company? If so, how many shares? To what tune? We need to know.
And which type of shares?
Exactly. How are we ensuring that the investment of taxpayers accrues a return, that there is a return on the taxpayer money, the 553 billion shillings? Because they're not producing sugar, and yet money has been injected. And has been the habit, Right Honorable Speaker, almost every year there is a request for more money to this entity. And as I mentioned to the management of the entity, I'm interested in that company being functional as opposed to collapsing. Why? Because taxpayers' money has been injected there. If it collapses, we lose 553.7 billion shillings. So we want it to be functional, but we don't know what's happening. And Right Honorable Speaker, as you have guided, there will be a lengthy one, but I thought I would tease these ones out for the minister to get set, to update this house, to update the country, so that we know what's happening with this taxpayers' money that was injected in this project. Thank you for now.
Thank you. You're giving information.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I raised an issue of national importance. Right Honorable Speaker, last week on Thursday, Madam Speaker, a recently appointed presidential advisor, Mr. Ayeranga Christopher Michael, was kidnapped by unknown people and taken to unknown place. Right Honorable Speaker, it's coming to 2 weeks. The efforts by the family, relatives, the lawyers and friends pressed for him have gone unrecognized, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's against the 48 hours that the presidential advisor has not been produced to court. Right Honorable Speaker, as people from Bunyoro, we are so worried that if a presidential advisor can be kidnapped without any trace,
what
is happening of the ordinary Ugandan. My prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, I pray that if Honorable Ayeranga was convicted of any crime, he should be produced to court and given a free and fair hearing. Lastly, Madam Speaker, I also pray that the government explains the whereabouts of the presidential advisor, Mr. Ayeranga Michael Christopher. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable, thank you. Honorable Minister, Lob raised some issues for your attention. He just needs an assurance from you that you are aware.
Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues. I have heard. And you can be sure that I will give you satisfactory answers again next week. Thank you very much.
Honorable Lob, you bring the report on all the institutions you visited, and then the minister. And then the minister will be able to respond to that. Yes.
Right Honorable, thank you very much for the opportunity. Yesterday you did guide that when the Prime Minister is here, we can get the answer. Right Honorable Speaker, our embassy in Nigeria is facing a very serious issues, and it's about being stifled to operate. Apparently, Madam Speaker, since 1st of July, the staff at our embassy in Abuja has never been paid. Reason, the PS, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the PSS still appoints the accounting officers. There is no accounting officer in Abuja. Madam Speaker, this Parliament and the executive allocated the money to construct a very good, magnificent offices at Abuja. But, Madam Speaker, the contractor is demanding a lot of money and cannot be paid, yet the money is there. That one is going to cause surcharge from government. With you, through you, Madam Speaker, I want that the Prime Minister takes this matter such that we get a response, maybe tomorrow with your guidance.
Honorable Minister of Finance
is here.
Can you make
At least we get, because these are our people who are suffering, yet now Abuja is a big elephant that we need to tap into.
Okay,
thank
sit.
you.
Honorable Minister of Finance, can you make a follow-up that we have an accounting officer in Abuja?
It cannot always be next week.
Let's have
Madam
an accounting
Speaker,
officer.
And my dear colleagues, we are aware what is taking place. We are aware. A few days, we were debating that question. One of the officers decided to take a role that is not his role. We are investigating, and I can assure you that officer will be brought back to Kampala as quickly as possible. Well, I can't, because I cannot force a foreign country. Well, no, I will not be able to divulge this because there is investigations going on. So when the investigations have gone on, then we shall know what happened. But as if removing the officer, it is something that we are working on so that he can come back to Uganda.
Thank you. Government on the issue of kidnap has again started. Presidential advisor.
Right Honorable Speaker, sorry for the kidnap of our presidential advisor. It's now 2 weeks that is, we don't know the whereabouts. Anyway, it is alleged. We are not very sure. I request, Right Honorable Speaker, that you allow me to involve Minister for Internal Affairs and Security to come and inform us about the alleged kidnap of our presidential advisor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 3.1, statement by Minister on the
Hold on. Continue.
Statement by Minister on the 44th World Food Day celebrations, 16th October 2024.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Vaughn, I will give you. First wait.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Uganda will join the rest of the world to commemorate the 44th World Food Day on the 16th October 2024. This year's event will be celebrated at the National Semi-Arid Resources Research Institute, Nasari, in Serere District. Nasari is one of the institutes of the National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO. Right Honorable Speaker and members, as you may be aware, every 16th day of October, the global community comes together to celebrate the World Food Day, calling on everyone, including government, academia, civil society, private sector, and individuals from various sectors of society to rally against hunger and build sustainable food security. The event, which coincides with the founding of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, of the United Nations, raises awareness and calls for action to support those who suffer from hunger and to ensure food and nutrition security for all. The theme, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this year's event will be celebrated under the theme, Rights to Foods for a Better Life and a Better Future. This theme emphasizes the fundamental human right to access safe, nutritious, and sufficient food as a foundation for ensuring healthy lives today and sustainable futures for coming generations. Better food underscores the legal and moral responsibility to ensure that every Ugandan has access to nutritious and safe food. The country stands to address the pressing need to eradicate hunger and malnutrition by ensuring that adequate food is central to improving health, boosting productivity, and ensuring the well-being of communities. Addressing food security positively impacts on education, employment, and economic stability. Having sustainable food systems and agricultural practices today will secure food availability for future generations. Investing in sustainable farming, efficient water use, and agricultural research and innovation is key to ensuring food security in Uganda amidst climate change. A word on the details on the national celebration is. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, as earlier highlighted, the national celebrations will be held on the 16th at Nasari in Serere. Nasari, located in Serere, Teso sub-region, is one of the oldest agricultural research institutions under NARO. The institute will also be holding its centenary celebrations as we celebrate this World Food Day. As a key institution focused on semi-arid and dry areas, Nasari plays a vital role in reviving traditional and orphaned crops such as cotton, millet, sorghum, cowpeas, groundnuts, sunflower, and simsim, which are highly suited to Ughanda's semi-arid regions. The above crops, once staples in many parts of Uganda, have seen a decline over the years due to the introduction of more commercialized crops. However, Nasari has worked to revive them, recognizing their resilience to drought, their nutritional value, and their importance for food security in regions with unpredictable rainfall patterns. Nasari's research has highlighted sorghum as particularly beneficial for diabetic patients as it helps regulate blood sugar levels. Sorghum is rich in dietary fiber, which slows the digestion and the absorption of carbohydrates, leading to better control of glucose in the body. Other nutritional benefits of sorghum include being rich in antioxidants, being gluten-free, being high in proteins, being mineral-rich, being rich in B vitamins, and a key contributor to agro-industrialization as it's a raw material for beer making. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Major Retired Jessica Rose Epel Alupo, has been invited to preside at a function in Serere. I will take this opportunity on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries to invite you, Right Honorable Speaker, and to invite all the honorable members to join Her Excellency the Vice President, the people of Teso, and the rest of the Ugandans in this commemoration of World Food Day in Serere District. The main event will be preceded by a tour of selected agricultural value chains and model farms in Teso sub-region, including a fish, sorghum porridge, and coffee night tonight. This is in recognition of the importance of these crops to Uganda. This will constitute a testimony of the various investments government has undertaken in agricultural research and development in the Teso sub-region, progress made in agro-industrialization, and also demonstrate the importance of the agriculture enterprises being promoted in the area. A number of exhibitions will also be organized, showcasing research and value-added products, including groundnuts, fish, beans, sorghum, coffee, millet, sweet potato, as well as mechanization and irrigation technologies, among others. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, on the same day, we shall launch newly released crop varieties successfully developed by our NARO scientists. I call this a major highlight because it is a great breakthrough for researchers who spend a lot of time with countless hours in laboratories, fields, and trials, incubating, grafting, and testing the new crop varieties. This is always great news for researchers, for farmers, and the entire country. In line with this, NARO's focus on producing climate-smart and resilient early maturing crop varieties, it is these varieties that will sustain food systems in the country. The newly released bean varieties are Nabe 14R and Nabe 12CR. These are superior because they are resistant to the bean anthracnose and the root rot disease. The newly released groundnut varieties are Narrow Nut 3R, Narrow Nut 4R, and Narrow Nut 5R. These have exhibited higher levels of resistance to diseases, drought, and are expected to contribute significantly to Uganda's agricultural landscape. Call for action. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, allow me to inform you that NARO is coming up with great innovations and technologies. These products and prototypes, if well funded and fully commercialized, will solve bottlenecks faced by the different enterprises along the agricultural value chains. The Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture has visited some of the stations and are impressed with the innovations. For emphasis, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, improved funding from government will give impetus to agricultural research, innovation, and development that is best suited for the Ugandan context. May I also remind you, honorable colleagues, that historically, the venue for this year's event, Nasari, handled both crops and livestock research, making it an integrated center for semi-arid agriculture. However, over time, the livestock research component was shifted away from Serere, which in hindsight may have been a strategy to increase the special centers of excellence. However, livestock remains a critical part of the livelihood in the semi-arid regions where pastoralism and mixed farming systems are prevalent. As part of the MAIFO's commitment, there is now a strategic effort to restore livestock research and production to the region of Teso and the surrounding areas. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to point out that from the policymakers, researchers, to the multipliers and off-takers, distributors, retailers, and farmers who produce the various foods we consume, we each have a role to play in ensuring that not only adequate food is provided, but should be safe and nutritious for all. Together, we can promote the right to foods for a better life and a better future in our country. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, and I beg to submit.
Thank you so much, honorable members.
Procedure.
Honorable Minister, thank you.
Procedure.
The statement is self-explanatory
Procedure, Right Honorable Speaker.
and
The procedure issue.
it's not subject to a debate. Go and
Procedure.
attend the World Food Day. It is going to be in Nasari, in Serere. Please go and see
Procedure.
what is there.
The statement is supposed to be written by the minister, but it's written by the P.
It's not written by what?
This is a statement supposed to be minister's statement.
Hmm.
But the minister has not owned the statement because it's written by the PS. And that's an anomaly, Right Honorable Speaker.
The minister works through technical people.
Yeah, but the minister has owned it. In this
minister-
parliament, we sign
minister,
all
you
pages
sign-
of the committee reports.
Sign the report. Minister will sign the report. That's a small thing.
Right Honorable Speaker, the statement is signed by the minister, but as a procedure of communication between the PSs and the clerk, it's the PS who signed the forwarding letter. But the statement
Is it a
is signed by
forwarding
the
letter
minister.
or statement? What is
And
signed?
the minister should swear the minister has signed. The statement is there. There is the forwarding letter. Show us where the minister has signed or where you have signed.
Honorable members, a forwarding letter is always written by the a PS to the clerk. Now, if a minister was the one writing, he would write to the speaker. So that is how things work.
Right Honorable Speaker, here with me, I have a signed statement signed by the minister, and I hereby lay it on the table.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 3.2, statement by Minister on the shortage of essential medicines and health supplies at health facilities.
Honorable Minister of Health. Yes, procedure.
I want to thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, rules don't allow MPs to just walk to your chair like that. Madam Speaker, the procedure issue I am raising relates to these statements. The earlier one read, similar to many statements that are brought here on international days. And you've said we don't even need to debate it. Whether you should not consider government producing a chart here of those days, because there is almost a day, an international day being marked every week, from food to everything. But the procedure point I am raising, Madam Speaker, this particular day of food has a bearing on the statistics, which the Minister of Finance said he will deliver a statement next week. Because this is about hunger and food security. So, Madam Speaker, two issues in one. The first is whether these statements should not be evaluated, and instead of ministers coming here as if they are on a talk show, they just say, no, pin them at the entrance and we find them there. But two, the issues of food security and hunger, the report of the Bureau of Statistics has figures of Ugandans who are food insecure. How do we consume, Madam Speaker, even as you said we go to read this statement that you have said you can go and read, in relation to statistics that are still doubtable? So that's the procedure issue I am raising. Because the statistics have issued a number of Ugandans who are food insecure. You have now said you go and read this statement. We would want to read it in relation to the figures in the report. So can we be advised, Madam Speaker, what do we do before the Minister of Finance comes here with the final statement on the statistics?
The statement has been provided for under Rule 52.1, and this statement, as you said, it is a routine. When there is a function, say Independence, World Food Day, AIDS Day, whichever, the Teachers Day, the minister comes with a statement. Now, the issue of the census, we are waiting for the report. Everybody is very eager about the census, the deviation of what happened during the census. We want to understand, and that's the report we are getting next week. I don't think between now and next week, people in Kira will die of hunger, because you say they want food. They will not die. Next item. Next item. Let's first get the issue of medicines. And for us in Busoga, the medicines are not there completely.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me express my appreciation to you for granting us this opportunity to respond to the concerns raised by honorable members regarding the shortage of essential medicines and health supplies in health facilities across the country. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it has been reported that many health facilities have previously experienced stockouts of essential commodities and have been unable to provide quality services due to delayed commodity deliveries and a low order fulfillment rate by the national medical stores. Honorable Speaker and members, the widespread shortages of EMS/HS in government health facilities were primarily a result of NMS being unable to access distribution funds from the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development in a timely manner. As a result, NMS would receive the funds late and would not deliver the services to the health centers as scheduled. However, I am pleased to report that this challenge has now been resolved. Starting with the 1st of July 2024, NMS was able to receive the distribution funds from Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and commenced distribution as planned. Medicines are now distributed according to the published delivery schedule, including the backlog, which had not been distributed to the high-level facilities by the close of the financial year 2023-24. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, allow me to take this opportunity to thank the government and this August House for the additional allocation of 139 billion in financial year 2024-25 budget to NMS, National Medical Stores. This funding has significantly increased the quantity of EMSs available for government health facilities. As a result, NMS now has 3 delivery schedules, and these are, the first one is bi-monthly delivery schedule. This is done every 2 months, and this is delivery schedule for medical and health supplies for regional referral hospitals up to Health Center 2. The monthly delivery schedule for vaccines and EMS, EMHS including oxygen. This is sent to the national referral hospitals. Then quarterly delivery schedule for all health facilities for bulk items, which include mama kits, IV fluids, syringes, liquid soap, and JIC. These are delivered quarterly. Right Honorable Speaker and members, as you may be aware, artificial shortages of medicines and health supplies at health facilities is caused by the theft of the EMHS health facilities and the irrational prescription of those medicines by some of the health workers. This compounds the problem of EMHS shortages. The Ministry of Health is working with NMS and other stakeholders to implement the last mile accountability up to the final beneficiary of essential medicines and health supplies at health facilities using IT innovation. The first phase is expected to be completed by the end of June 2025. This will provide information and on medicines dispensed at the health facilities. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, it is important to note that all the above interventions address the supply side of the medicines, but the most important and suitable solution is found in disease prevention and health promotion, and that addresses the demand side. And as Minister of PHC, I want to urge all of you, honorable colleagues, to embrace the communicate this message of prevention effectively. Finally, allow me to register my appreciation to the August House for your continued support to the health sector and to reassure you of the ministry's commitment to improve the delivery of essential services, medicines and services in terms of quality, quantity, and timely delivery, when now that the challenge of inaccessibility of funds for distribution has already been addressed by the Ministry of Finance. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Health, Rose, Judith, Dr. Batua, and Noah. Then Dr. Pear.
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank the Minister for the able response. Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister has not said anything about leprosy. Leprosy is at an increase in West Nile. In the whole country, West Nile leads. And unfortunately, Terego leads in the whole country. Right Honorable Speaker, in 2020, the whole country had a number of 234 protection. Right Honorable Speaker, West Nile had the number of 165 out of the 234. In 2021, national figure was 407. West Nile had 384. In 2022, national figure was 581. West Nile had 439, and so forth. Right Honorable Speaker, people still treat leprosy as a curse, therefore making the victims isolated, and they don't have any help because they end up losing their fingers and toes. And in most cases, they have advanced wounds. Right Honorable Speaker.
Let's be brief in our submissions.
Yeah, thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, I'll kindly request that Ministry of Health takes leprosy as an emergency and addresses it. I will lay this paper on table because it has all the details so that the Minister...
Of course, we need to know the authenticity of the paper.
The paper is from...
You can share with the Minister outside that.
Thank you.
It should be authentic.
Yes. Thank you. I'll allow my brother to say something. Thank you.
You're from Tobago.
Madam Speaker, in some cultures in Uganda, such as one we practice, there is still a belief that leprosy is a cultural issue. When you offend some people and they cry, you actually get affected. And we have been practicing this kind of culture. So, and this culture is conflicting with what the Ministry of Health people tell us about this disease. So in their risk communications, I think it will be good to reconcile this kind of contradiction so that the people know what exactly are the causes of leprosy. Is it true that culturally, actually, one can get affected? I see that is contributing to prevalence of the problem. So I pray you let the minister go on ground and dig deeper.
Thank you. Honorable Minister Judith.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Honorable Minister for really mentioning in her report about disease prevention and promotion, health promotion. Right Honorable Speaker, much as even Kwale district is one of the districts that has really vast shortage of medicines. For me, I would interest Ministry of Health if we prioritize health promotion and disease prevention, because more than 75% of the disease burden that is reported in our health facilities can be prevented. Right Honorable Speaker, we need to focus from today onwards that we put more money in disease prevention, because we have health workers, the public health workers, we have the health inspectors, called environmental health workers, who are also and health educators, who are actually employed by Ministry of Health. But Honorable Speaker, these people are not well facilitated to carry out their jobs. If we can give them motorbikes, we give them fuel, they run around in the communities, they sensitize our people, because as if health education has gone somewhere, we are not seeing
Thank
it
you.
anymore, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Batua.
Thank
A
you,
minute.
right Honorable Speaker. I wish to respond as the Shadow Minister of Health and in a short but very elaborate way, that the problem of shortages of medicine in the country is a very big problem that needs us to get well-defined solutions or solution so as to settle. If you look at it from the angle of malaria, which is the biggest disease burden, Right Honorable Speaker, in 2022, World Health Organization, which is an authority in matters of health, indicated in its report that there are 12.7 million cases of malaria in Uganda annually, meaning every day 34,000 Ugandans get sick with malaria. In the same report, 17,556 are estimated deaths, which means 48 Ugandans die daily of malaria. Malaria is a curable disease that can give us a better understanding what shortages of medicine actually do to a country. I've been with the Committee of Health. We've gone through various hospitals in northern Uganda, eastern, western. It's very hurting to get into those hospitals and knowing these figures, 48 Ugandans dying daily. You find no malaria drug in those hospitals, in Padibe, in Moroto, in Kabale. Yet, the very drugs are on the shelves at national medical stores in Entebbe. And what is missing is the money for fuel, to fuel a truck, to transport that drug from the shelves in Entebbe to that distant health facility so as to save a life of the 5-year-old child, so as to save the life of a mother. So it's only fuel. And when you look at this, because I've looked at the documents of national medical stores during the budget process, the cost of logistics for national medical stores is only 7%. Our prayer to change all this has always been that the Ministry of Finance front loads that money. 7% is small. For a quarter, national medical stores needs 25%. But this logistical support is only 7%. They can do it in 1 quarter. Right Honorable Speaker, when they front-loaded in June this year, we had very effective drug distribution, just as the minister has indicated. So for the last 3 months, we've seen very good distribution of medicine. Personally, I have no comment, and I appreciate the report. But I'm not sure whether in this coming quarter, we are going to have drugs that are well distributed in the facilities, simply because we are not sure whether Ministry of Finance is going to front-load that money. So I urge honorable members of Parliament that we make a resolution on this matter. I know government is convinced with the IFMS system, the Integrated Financial Management System, that they are following, where there are budget lines. So for logistical support, they will also send 25% of that money. Let's make a resolution on this and make an exception on the IFMS that for that particular budget line of logistical support, let the entire 7% that NMS needs to distribute drugs for the entire year be given to them at once, and all we start to demand is effective distribution of medicine. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues.
Thank you. Nathan. Then Noah. Nathan.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. I thought you had not seen me.
No, how can I fail to see?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, medicine is a very important thing in this country. What we have discovered, even the pricing of medicine by NMS is higher than pharmacies. And yet, for them who enjoy economies of scale, they would be buying more medicine from the same money. We could be they're saying finance is not doing well. But let us as Parliament also investigate how much does it cost. Maybe say a tablet. Let me take an example, Panadol. How much is it in NMS? How much is it in the pharmacy? We did an investigation. We discovered that the price of medicine in NMS is higher than the pharmacies. Now, for them, when they come in Parliament and you talk about medicine, everybody will raise that we need medicine. Minister of Finance has delayed to bring it, but they're not finding out what's the problem. And I want to plead with Parliament that if you are talking of transport, first and foremost, NMS has trucks. NMS has even contracts with outsiders who supply them, say, fuel and whatever. It cannot be an excuse that they cannot get fuel from Shell to transport the drugs. It is just something they are doing deliberately so that they come here, everybody gets up, you says, finance a problem, NMS right, so that they get away from their, they go with their crime. I want to plead to you members of Parliament, especially the Health Committee, take keen interest in how the operations of NMS are. Yes, drugs are essential, they're important. But even in most cases, even when they deliver, they are delivering drugs which are not mostly needed in hospitals. Most drugs are expiring on the shelves. Secondly, they get drugs from outside which have a less remaining with small life span, which those countries want to dump. In fact, they give them mostly free because they have the destruction costs are high. So now here you come, they have got them at a cheaper price, overpriced it to us, and when they're here, you're saying NMS is doing well and blaming others. It is important, means the Health Committee, to do a thorough investigation in operations of NMS before you come to cry in the house. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you, Noah.
Thank you very
Then
much,
Dr.
Right
Koya.
Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for the report, and I also want to thank the Minister of Finance for the front-loading of funds for the distribution. In the earlier discussion of the matters on medicine in this House, actually, we realized the issues were about releases for NMS, which were coming late. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to make a comment on the artificial shortages of medicines, which exacerbates stockouts in the health facilities. And in the minister's report, he did not provide for us a solution how we are going to address this. The issues of polypharmacy at health facilities and the theft. When I was still active practicing, we used to use the health unit management committees to ensure that the medicines are appropriately managed. And during deliveries, they will be present in receiving, and then we would encourage them to regularly visit the health facility to see how medicines are used. And currently now we have ICT solutions for managing medicine usage at health facilities to control the exit of medicines from stores to the prescription desks. So I wanted to implore the minister to explore these possibilities in facilities with the power and where these ICT solutions can work, so that we can address the issues of shortage of medicines as a result of theft. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Actually, the management system should be able to help in this monitoring of the drugs. Dr. Pear, we've agreed that we should have front loading of monies that is meant for drugs. That is one thing that we have agreed as a house. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay? The ayes have it. We've also agreed that the sectoral committees put keen interest. What Nathan has talked about, the cost of the drugs, should be monitored. Because the cost of the drugs must be monitored, how this is being managed. Dr. Chut, this is under you. And I know you're very capable, you'll manage this. You need to make sure you put keen interest in these drugs.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable
Dr. Chut wants to...
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we in our Northern Uganda report, we did a very extensive review on the issues on what is driving the drug shortages. On the issue that has been raised about front loading, that was an issue that happened last financial year, but addressed this financial year. But we also have the issue of artificial shortages. The drug is actually available at the facility, but the patients cannot access it. This is what we observed when we went on the ground. And this is why we made a very strong recommendation that we must digitalize the drug system itself, so that from NMS, you can trace the patient who received that Panadol, that anti-malarial, that injection. There's still a big gap in that particular area itself. But we take note of this, and we'll continue to see what else can be done to strengthen that area itself.
And originally we used to get SMSs. You still get it, eh? For me, I stopped getting.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Are they still sending? Me, I don't get. Yes, Doctor.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The issue of medicines are so emotional that you have actually mentioned one of the issues that I was raising, that when we started this 11th Parliament, we engaged in the national medical stores, and we would receive the SMSs. And when you are at the constituency, at times, you would even be invited to go and receive the medicines. So, Right Honorable Speaker, my issue is other stakeholders' involvement in the process of medicines, logistically, but also at the health center level. Our chair has recommended the issue of ICT, but I would also propose that as we digitize all these processes, I think it's important that we revitalize also the health management system. I wonder whether it's working or not, but in my own constituency, you just get to hear how some of these storekeepers are actually arrested in selling these drugs, or when the drug authorities are there getting medicines from government being sold at the clinics. So I think involvement of stakeholders that used to work well somehow needs to be revitalized. Right Honorable Speaker, finally, that the issue of stockouts are really a logistical and operational issue. And my colleague has alluded to procurement. In this country, most of our MDAs are so quick to buy what they can actually not manage or deliver where they are. And I think the planning should involve from procurement to delivery and management. I don't think you can go and buy medicine when you don't have fuel to take it to the next level. I think there should be some either politics or corruption or connivance somewhere. That as a house, we should stop proving procurement without the delivery of some of these facilities that we need at the health centers. I thank you.
Thank you so much. And Honorable Minister, you need to know that is our constitutional right. Constitutional right under Objective 14, that we must have access to health services, among others. So you need to take it seriously and make sure that all hospitals have drugs. Yes. James? James, Linda? Honorable members, we have other, you'll speak on other things. Yes, speak.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for the report. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister clearly indicated how the processes for NMS is undergoing, and you clearly stated that we used to get messages whenever drugs are delivered in our areas. But the issue is, whenever those drugs are delivered, you may find the essential drugs are lacking in those deliveries. Right Honourable Speaker, if you go to my hospital, main hospital in Germany, you may find so many drugs that has got expired, which are not used in the health facilities. But still, our own people are lacking drugs. What type of deliveries are those? How are those deliveries done? The belief is whenever deliveries are made, we have districts that submit requests for drugs. And the drugs are submitted or taken to those districts according to the request made by the respective district or health facilities. But on deliveries, you cannot get those. The issue of Health Unit Management Committee, Right Honourable Speaker, we want to thank government so much. The last health unit manuals which were given by the government shows that a person to be nominated in the Health Unit Management Committee, he or she must have been at least a senior for liver, who will be able to monitor the processes which are taking place in these health facilities here. But still, that is not enough, Right Honourable Speaker. We need the government to take deliberate effort to empower this Health Unit Management Committee to know their work so that they will be able to help government in a...
Linda?
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to thank the Minister of Health for the statement and also to agree with her that yesterday 2 trucks delivered drugs in my city. But Madam Speaker, drugs are delivered once in 2 months, but within 1 week, there are no drugs in the hospitals. There is need for us to increase the budget for these medicines because the medicines that are being delivered are not enough, and these hospitals end up running without drugs and putting patients...
Maybe there is need, first of all, to check whether there is safety of these drugs and accountability of the drugs that are being delivered.
Yes, Madam Speaker. And also, Madam Speaker, cases of accident have increased on the road, whereby you find most of our referral hospitals, when you look at the surgical wards, they are really very dilapidated, they are very small. There is need for government to budget for money to improve on regional referral hospitals on our surgical wards. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Sauda. Atima.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Still on the issue of SMSs, Right Honorable Speaker, NMS, I think due to the demand by the MPs, they started sending SMSs whenever they could deliver. But now it is a habit that they send SMSs even when they've not delivered. When they send you and you call the hospital, they say we have not received anything. So I wanted to notify you about that. Then another thing, Right Honorable Speaker, the people of Igang have been demanding that maybe they bring the pharmacies, because every time they are crossing the road to go and buy medicines across, and they've been knocking down people. They leave the sick people in the hospital and they knock down the people who are going to buy the medicines. So they were putting a request that maybe government allows these pharmacies be brought inside the hospital. Because if even on Saturday morning, we had an accident. On several occasions, we've been asking UNRWA to put humps on that road, but they have been failing, but at least they've heard our cry. They are going to put humps. Another thing that I brought on notice here on the floor of Parliament, it was about the electricity. Babies have been dying, Right Honorable Speaker, because the line is not proper. They depend on the generator, and the monies that they allocate the hospital is small. So you find that even the sterilizer broke down, and now they had to go to a health center 3 of some sub-county to bring the sterilizer from there to bring it in the hospital, for the general hospital. I think that is not proper.
I was actually surprised in Soroti how they could take a patient from the referral hospital to be operated in Health Center 3.
Yes.
Health Center 3 in Soroti, and the person died. Yes,
right.
There's a problem.
Right, Honorable Speaker, you're right. That's what is happening in Iganga.
they got a sterile, sometimes what they do, because the theater is not operating now, they get the patients from the general hospital, they send them, they refer them to the health center 3s.
Honorable Minister, you need to take note of that.
Yes.
The referral hospitals.
Yes.
Honorable members, the referral hospitals are referring patients to health center 3s.
Yes.
I have evidence to that effect. It happened in Soroti Referral Hospital and the patient passed on. Honorable members.
Thank you.
Yes, Atima.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I want to thank the Minister for the report, and I want to thank the Ministry for helping NMS to come up with a schedule of delivering these drugs. At least this has now sorted the issue of shortages in the facilities. But Honorable Minister, I want to draw your attention on the area of artificial shortage. Honorable Minister, as a colleague noticed, you did not clearly come up with a solution of how you will address this artificial shortage. Theft of drugs and essential items in health facilities has been the order of the day. I have a rural regional referral hospital which has been so associated with this theft. We got equipment stolen from the hospital. An ambulance was stolen from the hospital. And when the security was investigating, Honorable Minister, your ministry decided to transfer those personnel who were involved to another location, meaning you are transferring the same problem from one facility to another facility instead of prosecuting these people and bringing them to book. So that's a very serious concern. Then number two, Right Honorable Speaker, the concern I want to put before the minister is we have government is spending
members,
money.
you've debated this issue for over an hour.
I just wanted to
Rule
make that one point.
52 gives you 1 hour. There is a motion from Bualo.
Right Honorable, can I make that one point?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, the one point I wanted to make is government spends money on personnel, especially internal auditors of these facilities. What work are they doing? Are they checking this theft? Are they being supervised, or they are just being, employed for doing nothing? Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Bualo. Why is the Bualo scared?
I'm not scared. Right, Honorable Speaker, as just a second before I move a motion, this Parliament, in its wisdom, in April 2021, passed a resolution to honor Dr. Epodoi and the medical personnel in Soroti Hospital for the historical operation that they conducted to separate the conjoined twins. These twins were referred to Mulago Hospital, and Mulago condemned them. They were referred back to Soroti Hospital. Soroti Hospital, with its humble doctors, conducted this successful operation. The Parliament at that time made a resolution that the hospital be equipped and renovated. As I speak now, Madam Speaker, the theater of Soroti Referral Hospital has been condemned. One. Number two, Soroti Hospital is operating without a medical ward. Number three, because of the problem of production of oxygen, the plant, we don't have only power to power the plant. We keep having in and out of stock of the oxygen. So, Madam Speaker, I would want to remind the Ministry of Health and Government to go to the archives, take this up, and equip Soroti Hospital as we passed as this Parliament. Having said that, Madam Speaker, we have debated this matter.
We have listened to you, Honorable Minister. I therefore move a motion. Information Authority.
Honorable members, we've debated this issue. We have all the issues concerning the medical sector, and we've gotten reports, very good reports from the sectoral committee. And Honorable Minister, you know, it is a constitutional right for one to have health services on top of other issues, and also ensure that there is timely and planned delivery and procurement of medicines to be delivered to the hospitals or health centers. And all the hospitals that we have should be functional. But it is unfortunate that some hospitals are not functional. They are not reachable because of the bad roads. So the supply chain of drugs from NMS to the hospital is a problem. You really need to work on that. Minister?
The motion has been overtaken. So I therefore raise a motion that we stop the debate so that we move to other matters in the order paper.
Thank you. Thank you. It was.
I'm rising to second the motion.
Have I put a question?
No, because the motion must be seconded before you even put
Have
a
I
question.
put a question that is it seconded?
That's why I rose here to second the motion. That
Sit down.
The motion moved is second.
Next. Honorable Minister, it is not, seriously, it's not a laughing matter. We need this procurement, the supply chain, to be very clear. And honorable members, don't wait to come to the house. Go to these people's ministries and tell them you don't have the drugs. Next item.
Item 3.3, statement by Minister on the status of health facilities in northern Uganda.
It was, we are not, I ruled it. The eyes had it.
Thank you. once
Honorable
again.
members, just a minute, young, just come back a bit. In the public gallery, we have pupils and teachers from Crane Junior School from Lira City. Lira City. You're most welcome. They are represented by Honorable Vincent Cedric Obong. Honorable Cedric is around, and Honorable Jane Ruth Achen, the Minister of Health. You're most welcome. Thank you for coming. Stand up. First stand up. You're very smart. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have teachers and students from St. Stephen's Secondary School in Jeru Municipality, that's Buikwe, represented by Honorable Mutasingwa Diana, welcome, and Honorable Luanga Jimmy. Luanga Jimmy is Lope deployed him. You're most welcome. Thank you so much for coming. When you go back, you tell them you have very good members of parliament. Yes, yes, Buzaya.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, 2 months ago, I presented a case here regarding
the defaults on the Yaka meters.
On the what?
On the new Yaka meters. Yaka meters. Yaka.
How does it come in as a procedural matter now
Yes,
here?
Right Honourable Speaker, I request that you listen to me.
Honorable Buzaya.
Yes, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honorable Buzaya, let's finish the issue of medicine. Let's finish the. Let her give us the response on medicine.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Let me start with Honorable Biga on leprosy. Honorable Biga, we shall send a team from Ministry of Health, and I shall connect you with everybody so that they can get in touch with you to verify and also get the feel of the problem in West Nile. Judith Adiek, I want to really agree with you that 75% of the diseases that we are treating in this country are preventable. And so we better go for prevention rather than cure. And this is caused by sometimes poor feeding, that causes malnutrition. Overfeeding causes obesity, and obesity is a disease too. And also feeding on the wrong diet and not working our bodies, working out our bodies. We need to exercise our bodies every day rather than sitting and then driving home and watching TV and getting to sleep. Dr. Batwa, I am really grateful for you, for the question you have raised on malaria. However, the numbers are 16 people per day, which is really sad. We shouldn't be losing our children, mostly children and pregnant women, to malaria. But the good news is that the World Health Organization, as you're aware, passed the vaccination for malaria, and sooner or later we shall roll it out. Honorable Nandala says the medicines of NMS are more expensive than in pharmacies. I really don't understand that question because I know that NMS doesn't sell medicines. All they do is to distribute to health centers that belong to government and PNFPs. Dr. Musa talked about the theft of drugs. You know that there is health monitoring unit of State House which deals with that. And I hope you have also seen the NDA arresting a number of people hiding these drugs in their homes. I've seen Dr. Medad Bitekerezo in so many places talking about these culprits that steal drugs from our health facilities. Dr. Agnes Apea, thank you for your question, but all this comes back to our own communities because every health facility has got a management committee. We need to go back as legislators and as representatives of the people and find out whether these management committees really go to these health facilities. Because a management committee can even recommend to a cow, to a DHO, that there is an errant health worker who doesn't come here or who steals drugs. And these people will be dismissed. Honorable James, I have heard your cries from Adjumani. And I really want to tell you, members, most of you raised the question of SMS. Sometimes we change numbers and then they remain sending on the old number. Because some people are saying they get them, others are saying they don't get them. So I'll take the information to NMS so that everybody receives the medicines. Honorable Linda from Fort Portal City, thank you for appreciating that at least you get the messages and also that you saw trucks delivering drugs. Now your next step should be to check whether these drugs are being used in the health facilities or in private people's clinics. Dr. Achote, that drugs are delivered but patients don't get them. This comes to the same thing, the management of these hospitals. These are management which are picked from the community nearest to these health facilities. So if they were monitoring well, you know, a drug is not a pin or a needle. It's something a little bulky And so when you carry it out of the hospital, sincerely, if you are not seen by a colleague, then an askari. Then if the askari has not seen you, the community alone should report such people, even if they are beneficiaries of these stolen drugs. Honorable Sauda, we want to thank you for your good question on NMS not sending messages nowadays, and also having no electricity on some of our health centers. In my next report, I'll be giving a status only for Northern Uganda, but we have also written to the Ministry of Energy to make sure they take an extra mile to take electricity to schools, hospitals, and other facilities that host many people. Right, Honorable Speaker, you have given your own experience whereby a person died while being referred from a bigger hospital to a smaller one. We do not allow that at all. You cannot have a general hospital and then you refer a person to a health center 4. And the health center 3 is even worse, because the health center 3 does not have a theater. So I wonder which people did this and whether they were reprimanded. Because as a ministry, we have a rewards and sanctions committee, which is supposed to handle such characters who misbehave in the health sector. Honorable Atim talked about also thefts. Atima talked about thefts, and Dr. Honorable Ebualu, I've called you doctor. Be a doctor for once. Anyway, yes, we really need to honor that doctor who separated conjoined twins from sorority. But also Mulago has done several of these by Dr. Sekavira. He's a senior surgeon. I've met some of the conjoined twins that he has separated. Thank you, honorable members, for all these questions. And we are open to really meeting you and discussing, even on a one-on-one in my office, and we see how to sort out the many difficult problems. Thank you very much, Right Honorable.
Thank you. So, how are you dealing with the issue of stealing of drugs, where we are saying you need a management system to do an audit trail?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I did explain that we have the health monitoring unit of State House, which has arrested quite a number of people, especially health workers who have been stealing drugs. But we still get those complaints from people. And many of them have been arrested, others have been arraigned in court, others have been interdicted, quite many of them.
Honorable members.
Madam Speaker, drugs are not just lost at the health facilities.
No. Next.
Item 5. Motion for adoption of the report of the Public Accounts Committee, Central Government, on the Auditor General's report on Uganda's High Commission in Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, and Mombasa Consulate for the year ended 30th June 2023.
Honorable members, you recall that on Thursday, 29th August 2024, this House, the report was presented to this House, but the final decision was, no, that's not the one, but the chairperson of the committee is available. Chair or vice? Honorable Namuga, please go ahead and present the report. Former Minister of ICT.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for recognizing me in that capacity. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity to present this report, and I thank my chair for also giving way and mentoring. Right Honorable Speaker, I also thank you for giving us a mighty team in the Public Accounts Committee Central, a committee of 47 members who have executed on their mandate, and that is the reason as to why we've managed to have these so many reports on the floor of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, as you've rightly said, my name is Gorethi Namuga, representing the people of Maogola County and the Deputy Chair of Public Accounts Committee Central, here to present former Shadow Minister for Science, Innovation and Communications Technology in the alternative government. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm here to present a report of the Public Accounts Committee Central of the Auditor General on Uganda's High Commissions in Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, Mombasa for the year ended June 2022-23. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the minutes and also beg to lay a copy of the minutes and also beg to lay a copy of the original report, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, Right Honorable Speaker, Uganda has over 35 foreign representations abroad in terms of embassies and consulates which are audited yearly by the Auditor General. However, over the last 3 years, Right Honorable Speaker, the committee has not been able to consider these reports, mainly because of budgetary constraints, Right Honorable Speaker. And yet some of these missions have continued to attract qualified opinion reports from the Office of the Auditor General. Right Honorable Speaker, I therefore make an appeal to your office to ensure that we facilitate the committee to carry out its mandate of overseeing these missions so as to reduce on the queries that are raised every financial. Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'll go straight to the Auditor General's report and I'll begin with the Uganda High Commission in Tanzania. Honorable colleagues, I want you to note that the mandate of Uganda's High Commission in Tanzania is to promote commercial diplomacy and Uganda's interests in the United Republic of Tanzania, Zambia, Mozambique, Malawi, Comoros, and Madagascar. Right Honorable Speaker, this mission received a budget of 9.5 billion. This was the budget, out of which 4.5 billion was warranted. And they had a shortfall of 5 billion, Right Honorable Speaker.
Minister of Agriculture, we have bills under agriculture. I hope you're coming back.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want the House to take note that this budget for this mission was had a shortfall of 5 billion, and automatically that affects the operations of the mission. Right Honorable Speaker, I'll go to performance under NTR. And honorable colleagues, this mission planned all budgeted to collect 84 million, out of which 83 million was collected, Right Honorable Speaker, representing a performance of 98%. However, Right Honorable Speaker, the committee observed that the High Commission of Dar es Salaam had under-budgeted for the NTR for the year in question. And that is the reason as to why it overperformed. So the committee recommends that the accounting officer should take realistic NTR targets based on a trend analysis and consider exploring new sources of NTR to enhance revenue collection. Performance of GOU warrants, Right Honorable Speaker, as noted previously, they had a shortage of 5 billion. And this was meant for programs such as governance and security, with activities such as relocation of the Chancery from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma in compliance with the decision of the Tanzanian government to move all government officers, including foreign missions, to Dodoma. However, this could not be done due to lack of resources. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee was informed that the High Commission had already invested over 69 million in preparing the design documents in anticipation for the construction. These funds are therefore likely to be rendered wasteful in the project because the project wasn't implemented due to shortage of funding. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that government should provide money for completion of the project to enable the commission to be moved to Dodoma, and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should consider entering into a PP agreement with the private sector, including NSSF, to fund the construction of the new Chancery in Dodoma. Right Honorable Speaker, unsupported budget outputs. As noted in the previous reports, honorable colleagues, the mission contrary to the Public Finance and Accounting Regulation 11.2, the Auditor General observed that the budgets for all the outputs that were assessed were not supported by individual activity costing, Right Honorable Speaker. And this automatically affects the implementation of these outputs, Right Honorable Speaker. And therefore, the committee recommends that the accounting officer should be cautioned for flouting the regulations, that is public finance and management regulations, in relation to costing of activities at the time of budgeting. This is the reason as to why some activities are either not implemented and others are left out at the time of implementation of the budget, and others are overcosted at the time of procurement. So the committee recommends that the Minister of Finance should consider organizing periodic capacity building, enhancing intervention for the planners at the mission. So, Right Honourable Speaker, this should be effected immediately because this affects the implementation of the plan for the mission. Right Honourable Speaker, on implementation of outputs still, the Auditor General assessed the implementation of the same 8 outputs and noted that the outputs were partially implemented. Right Honourable Speaker, from all the reports that we've presented as Park Central, we have a challenge. We do the budgeting, but items are partially implemented. This means that you will have idle investment. You start on an item, it is stopped in the middle. So that means government will not deliver on its mandate, and at the end of the day, it affects service delivery. Right Honourable Speaker, the accounting officer should be held responsible for the partial implementation of all activities that were implemented, for all the activities that were partially implemented according to the work plan. And also the accounting officer should ensure proper planning, budgeting, and including costing of activities to guide budget execution. Right Honourable Speaker, there is also a query of failure to develop land. Right Honourable Speaker, the Auditor General observed that the mission owns 2 plots of land in prime locations in the city centre. However, this land had remained undeveloped or underutilized for more than 5 years. This land, one of it is located in Dar es Salaam, and the details are land at Kaunda Drive, and this land is idle and there is no development on the same land. And still, there is also another land that is housing the old official residence of the ambassador on Yasser Arafat Road. The land has also remained idle for the last 5 years. Therefore, the committee recommends that the accounting officer should make a business case in developing the properties in order for it to get priority under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. 2, the committee recommends that the accounting office recommends that the High Commission, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, should consider the option of entering into private-public partnership arrangement with the Uganda companies so as to develop that very land. Right Honourable Speaker, this land is in prime areas, and once we invest in it, it can be a source of revenue to our country. Government preparedness to open up a consulate in Arusha. Right Honourable Speaker, the Auditor General noted that during the financial year under review, the government opened up a consulate office in Arusha with the primary objective of promoting Uganda's interests in the East African Community Secretariat. However, the Auditor General reviewed the current state of the consulate and noted the following. The consulate was significantly underfunded, which was affecting operations, and in the financial year under review, the consulate was only provided with 480 million. Right Honourable Speaker, we are speaking about missions abroad. And if these missions are not given adequate budgets, we shall suffer diplomatic embarrassments, as you've been observing, honourable colleagues. So they need to be given the money so as they can represent us very well. The consulate also lacked computers, office equipment. Can you imagine? Missions lack computers. And also the consulate was understaffed, and lack of critical staff such as the consular officers and administrative officers who are critical given the activities that the mission should be handling. So, Right Honourable Speaker, the committee recommends that the accounting officer continues to engage the Minister of Finance for adequate resources and optimally operate the consulate. So the consulate in Arusha is underperforming because of inadequate funding. So, Right Honourable Speaker, that is the report for the consulate in the consulate in Arusha. So the next consulate is Mombasa. Right Honourable Speaker, during the financial year under review, and you should note, honourable colleagues, that the mandate of this consulate is also to promote and protect Uganda's national interest in Kenya and other countries of accreditation. They also received a budget of 6 billion and only received 5.8 billion, having a shortfall of 468 million. Right Honorable Speaker, on NTR, it was noted that there was a misrepresentation of figures between the Office of the Auditor General and the entity, where, according to the approved NTR for the financial year under review, the consulate had budgeted to collect 57 million. However, the accounting officer disputed the above figures of the Auditor General and instead submitted that they were supposed to collect 6 million. So there was from a difference of 57 million to 6 million. So these figures, Right Honorable Speaker, they were confusing, and this was according to the report of the Auditor General. However, the accounting officer acknowledged that, the committee noted that the conflicting figures quoted in the Auditor General's report and that of the accounting officer was misleading and did not give a true picture of what transpired in the organization. And moreover, the accounting officer did not remit even the little that was collected. The 3.4 million was not remitted, reportedly collected during the financial year to the consolidated fund, which was irregular and illegal, contrary to Section 30, Part 1 of the Public Finance and Accounting Regulations, or Act. The accounting officer acknowledged the non-remittance of funds and attributed this to the hefty bank charges that took the whole of the money. The accounting officer said that all the money that was collected was absorbed in bank charges. So that is why the money was not remitted to the consolidated fund. The accounting officer should, should always liaise with the Minister of Finance in order to arrive at more realistic NTR, and the accounting officer should conform to Section 30 of the PFMA and ensure that all transactions are captured in the books of accounts for completeness. Right Honorable Speaker, the Accountant General should organize a capacity enhancing fresher course for the officers in the account section. Right Honorable Speaker, we observed, much as there is understaffing, but the staff in the accounting department were very, I should not say they were incompetent, but really the performance was far below standard. And the Office of the Accountant General should take note of that. In the performance of government warrants, we noted that the budget was 6 billion and they only received 5 billion, which was a shortfall of 446 million. Automatically, this affected the performance of the mission. The committee recommends that government should fully fund the consulate to promote and attract trade and investment. And on utilization of these warrants, Right Honorable Speaker, the Auditor General reported that out of the warrants of 5.8 billion availed to the consulate during the financial year under review, only 5.4 was utilized, resulting to unutilized warrants of 408 million. Honorable colleagues, much as there was a shortage in releases, but even the little that was released wasn't fully utilized. And therefore, the committee recommends that the accounting officer should strengthen financial control measures and ensure accurate posting in the financial statement. And also, the accounting officer should ensure that the affected activities are rolled over for implementation in the subsequent financial year. Right Honorable Speaker, this also comes back to implementation of outputs. It was also noted that the Auditor General noted that out of the 4 outputs that had been fully quantified, the 4 outputs that had been fully quantified with a total of 25 outputs worth that money. For this, unique about this mission, at least their outputs were quantified. We really commend them for that. And the committee agrees with the Auditor General that non-implementation of much as these were quantified, but we still have some activities that were not implemented. This speaks to the 408 million that of those activities that were not implemented, yet the money was received. Diversion and mischarge. Right Honorable Speaker, from a sample of transactions reviewed, the Auditor General noted that funds to the tune of 18 million was irregularly charged from the activities which they were budgeted and spent on the activities which were out of the budget. Right Honorable Speaker, 18 million might look little, but this is accountability. This is government money and it ought to be accounted for. So the committee recommends that the accounting officer should be held responsible for diverting the 18 million. Lastly on this, Right Honorable Speaker, lack of land for the consulate, lack of title for the consulate land at plot 1/50 on Nyari, Mombasa, Kenya. The Auditor General reported that the consulate was allocated land measuring approximately 1 acre at Nyari, Mombasa by the Uganda Property Holdings in 2022. The land was valued and by the government valuer through the and the consulate intends to construct the chancery and staff accommodation. The Auditor General noted that they were still processing the title for the same piece of land. Up to now, they have no title. And therefore, the committee recommends that the accounting officer should expedite the process of obtaining the title to ensure that the ongoing construction work is completed and in time. Right, Honorable Speaker, lastly is Uganda Commission in Nairobi. Honorable colleagues, we should take note that we lost our ambassador, Hassan Waswa Galiwango. That was in January 2023. And we still continue to condole with the family of our late colleague. However, Right Honorable Speaker, this House should note that up to now, the ambassador has not been replaced. We don't have a substantive ambassador in Nairobi. I will not say that this is a diplomatic embarrassment, but Right Honorable Speaker, we should take note. We need to have the ambassador recruited and a substantive one. We should take note that the mandate of this mission is to promote and protect Uganda's interest in Kenya and the region, and it has double mandate as a bilateral station with multiple accreditation to Kenya and multiracial representation to the UN environment and UN habitat. Right Honorable Speaker, the mission of Nairobi is a bit unique. Its scope is very wide. And I wonder why government has not picked interest in recruiting a substantive ambassador for that mission. I think for the last 1.5 years, we need to take note, honorable colleagues. The Uganda High Commission in Nairobi, Right Honorable Speaker, received a budget during the financial year under review. The mission had a budget of 14.07 billion and also received a supplementary of 330 million, making a total of 14.4 billion. However, Right Honorable Speaker, we should note all the budget was released for this mission. The performance of NTR, Right Honorable Speaker, the Auditor General reviewed the NTR estimates for the year under review and noted that the mission had budgeted to collect NTR of 350 million during the year under review and only collected 210, which is an under correction, and the committee recommended that the accounting officer should incorporate all sources of revenue in order to come up with a realistic NTR. The Accountant General should consider offering capacity building session in bookkeeping for the head of accounts to enhance credibility, accuracy, and consistency in the books of accounts. Right Honorable Speaker also took note of that mission is account section which was a bit performing below standard, and the Accountant General should take note. Honorable colleagues, as we do proceed with this submission, you should also take note that the newly renovated building in Nairobi was, you know what happened when the Gen Zs had riots? Our building was burnt. I should say it was burnt, which was a serious loss to our country, and you will get the figures as we proceed. Utilization of warrants, Right Honorable Speaker. The Accountant General reported during the year under review that we had that budget as I indicated, and they received it 100%. The Auditor General observed that the mission did not spend funds to the tune of 1 billion, representing a 7.16% of its funding. And on further scrutiny, it was noted that this amount majorly comprised of funds released for the refurbishment of Uganda House during the year under review. During the year under review, there was the mission received this it was 1.034 billion, but the refurbishment didn't take place at that time. And the accounting officer explained that the bulk of the affected activities was as a result of budget cuts. They claimed that there were budget cuts. Yes, the Auditor General indicates that the money was received. The committee recommends that the accounting officer should ensure that work plans are strictly followed and implemented timely. The Accountant General should consider offering capacity building still. Implementation of outputs. The Auditor General assessed the implementation of the sampled 6 outputs with 11 activities worth 14.4 billion, and noted that one of the output and one activity expenditure worth this was fully implemented. The Auditor General reported that the mission did not implement the following activities. There are many, but we can note a few. 3 business meetings between tourist operators in Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. These were not organized. and also staff were not trained to support tourism marketing and handling. The committee noted that non-implementation of outputs and activities despite receiving the money implies that the money was diverted to do something else, which means diversion. This leads to a diversion. So the recommendation of the committee is that the accounting officer should ensure that all output/stroke activities are implemented as per the approved work plan and should seek for approval of where need arises. Compliance to national planning and budgeting requirements. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm about to finish. The Auditor General reviewed the certificate of compliance for the annual budget for the financial year under review and assessed the report issued by National Planning Authority and found that overall the mission's performance of the BFP and annual budget was at 58% compliance in relation to delivering activities according to the NDP3 plans through the use of corresponding output indicators. The mission registered non-alignment to the BFP and annual budget on the following: science-based capacity building, government institutions enrolled, and commercial diplomacy. Right, Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that the Minister of Foreign Affairs should liaise with the National Planning Authority to have foreign missions appraised in a manner that fits within the mandates and outputs according to 1.5, refurbishment of Uganda House. Right, Honorable Speaker, Government of Uganda owns a commercial property in Nairobi, Uganda House, as everyone knows, and Uganda House within the twin building on plot 209 and that plot, Kenyatta Avenue. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Auditor General reported that the mission proceeded with the procurement of the contractors, as you may see, but we may note that there were delays in the works. Right, Honorable Speaker, there were delays, but I think colleagues should note that much as the activities were later executed up to the end, the same building was burnt. So you are going to get challenges of accountability. The building was burnt before handover. And Right, Honorable Speaker, Government of Uganda spent money to the tune of 14 billion. Let us get the right figure. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Auditor General reported that the mission proceeded with the procurement of the contractors for remodeling of the two twin building and a contract worth 740 Kenyan shillings, which is equivalent to 24.4 billion shillings. Right, Honorable Speaker, all this money was spent, but hardly before the handover, the building was burnt. So, by the Gen Zs during the demonstration. So, whoever is looking for accountability for 24 billion, the building was burnt before it over to Government of Uganda. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to submit, and thank honorable colleagues for the contribution.
Thank you, Honorable Namuga. Thank you so much. Honorable Jessica.
Thank you.
Jessica Wilson.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I also thank the committee for a very good report. My major concern is on the poor absorption capacity. Yet, many of the entities do not have money to use. Right Honorable Speaker, as I agree with the recommendation of the committee, but I think Ministry of Finance and Government must do more than what we are recommending, so that at the time of deploying our accounting officers and other officers to take responsibility of managing institutions, we should send people who can do work properly, beginning from the planning. Right Honorable Speaker, as Parliament, we have echoed here that we should not appropriate monies unless it is properly planned for. That means that we were not told the right thing at the time of appropriation. Because if we knew that more was planned, but the capacity to utilize was low, probably as Parliament we would have rejected appropriation of such an amount of money. To Right Honourable Speaker, I support government in the role given to our embassies for the commercial diplomacy. But Right Honourable Speaker, unless we budget appropriately, because you need to market your country, that calls for several activities. But the figures said in this report reflects that in many of the embassies, we have not provided enough money for these people to play the role of commercial diplomacy. Therefore, case by case, I support the recommendation that we need to add more money for many of these embassies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The issue of the environment that is under Section 22 of the Public Finance Management Act, where the accounting officer is supposed to get permission from the minister to vary or to divert funds. And a failure to that, he must be responsible for it. Yes, yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I raise on a procedural point. The committee has reported that the Uganda House was burnt down. And it had just been refurbished at a cost of 24.4 billion.
How much?
24.4. Yes. But the major aspect I'm raising on is seeing the Attorney General and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Uganda House must and should be a diplomatic property. And it was gutted not by electric short circuits, but Kenyan citizens deliberately moved to torch down our Uganda House, our mission.
For diplomacy, you may not say Kenyan citizens. You say the house was
our
burnt.
brothers.
Our brothers and
Our
sisters.
brothers, but not within our boundaries, but within the Kenyan jurisdiction. Right Honourable Speaker, wouldn't government take this up? One, an attack on a foreign mission shouldn't just pass off casually as they seem to be doing. Number two, all that is lost must be made good by the host country.
Thank you.
And we are seated here. We are not probing that before we put our accounting officers to task. But this was an act of aggression. A protest note should have been attached.
AJ. AJ.
I appreciate my colleague raising that matter. Had not noticed that the Minister of Foreign Affairs is here. But for purposes of diplomacy, like the Right Honourable Speaker has guided, this matter is being handled at a diplomatic level. I believe that at the right time, a report will be tabled here. Thank you.
Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs. That's a very pertinent issue.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to respond to this particular very important matter. Right Honourable Speaker, when Uganda House was torched, government of Uganda was very concerned, but I must also say government of Kenya was equally concerned. The matter was handled at very high diplomatic levels, where a letter of regret was sent from government of Kenya by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya to his counterpart, the President of the Republic of Uganda. Minister of Foreign Affairs did receive a copy, but as you are aware, the head of diplomacy in a country is the President, We even discussed this matter at cabinet level, and the president pledged to handle this matter diplomatically. So the matter is being handled. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, I just want to show you something here. I was calling Sech Kubo, who you show him. Wilson.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister, we may not be very good at diplomacy, but all we want is our house. Period. Because if it had happened here, it would have been an issue. We want our house. Yes, Wilson.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I have listened to the report covering major East African missions.
Let him finish, then you get a clarification.
That is reported on the diplomacy.
Patrick, since when did you become...
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, I like when the committee recommends that underfunding of these missions leads us to diplomatic embarrassment. And we have said this time and again, the other rider in the report is about accounting officers. I've had opportunity to serve in diplomatic missions for some considerable time. These foreign service officers are actually diplomats from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, recommended and appointed by Ministry of Finance, and actually supervised. And majority of the accounting models they use are homemade and controlled from here. And so Ministry of Finance, Auditor General and all others, surely it should not be that Parliament is the one recommending. These are their officers. They are accountable like we have most officers under their docket. I would like that we put this, we implement it, and we put Ministry of Foreign Affairs to task. Otherwise, it should not be, it is their responsibility because they're handling public finance.
Thank you.
So secondly, the issue of Arusha. Arusha, of course, the consulate in Arusha is a recommendation of East African community. And all member states have deployed their ambassadors in Arusha to support the implementation of the treaty. It is absurd that ours as Uganda, and Uganda is the champion of East African Community and Federation. So it can't be that it is Uganda that is underfunding her own mission. It's really unfortunate. I would like us to walk the talk.
Thank you. Clarification from
Thank you,
Patrick.
Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, some time back, when our traders were trading in South Sudan, they lost property and many goods. But the heavy diplomacy that people are talking about here ended up asking Uganda to pay. And it is our government. Money was passed here to pay the traders. I want to hear from the
partial
minister.
payment.
And it was partial.
It was partial, not all of it.
And they said it is diplomacy. After diplomacy, we've ended up agreeing that it is you who is supposed to pay your traders.
The story behind Uganda paying that money was a guarantee. Uganda was paying for and on behalf of South Sudan. Which South Sudan? It's a debt to South Sudan. I remember very well in the 10th Parliament, and I was in this house that when that was passed, the agreement was written. We even went to South Sudan on the same thing. So we only guaranteed, because the traders were our traders and we were suffering, we said we cannot let our traders to suffer. Let's pay on behalf, and South Sudan is to pay.
Thank you.
Maybe you will make
Thank
another
you.
clarification.
Actually, Madam Speaker, you brought it out very well. Thank you very much. Now I want to know from our minister, is it not going to be the same story? That what happened in Kenya, and your diplomat is going to tell us, end up saying, Uganda, please clear your bills. We shall see, because it is you who love East African community very much than the rest of. So, Madam Speaker, that's the clarification I needed from.
Yes, Dr. Boka. And then Milton.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker.
Then Eddie.
I thank the chair for the report.
Dr. Kefa.
And particular consulate in Mombasa, because recently we were in
Please,
Mombasa.
a minute.
We had a Ugandan that had a health problem, and the consulate did its best to rescue that Ugandan, and for that they are very, very grateful. I have two quick issues. Number one is related to the issue of commercial diplomacy, and within the context of the East African community, where we need to support our traders for export promotion. And indeed, a number of our traders are grappling in entering the East African community markets. Many have lost money, and especially in the Republic of South Sudan. I really wish we build the capacities of our embassies within the East African community, Africa and beyond, in real commercial diplomacy for export promotion. The second issue is related to tracking our citizens when they enter the country and exit. I've interacted with a number of Ugandans within Africa and outside Africa on whether or not their embassies know their presence. And to my dismay, many of the citizens are not registered, to an extent that when problems arise, it will be very difficult to trace them and to evacuate them. What is being done by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our embassies to see to it that even if it's not brick and mortar, we have a digital mechanism of tracking the entry and the exit of our citizens in these countries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Milton.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I thank the committee for their good report, but at the same time, wish to register maybe my disappointment for the non-deployment of a substantive ambassador. To date, for 1.5 years, this underperformance could have been occasioned by the non-deployment of a substantive ambassador in Nairobi. I'm made to believe. But Madam Speaker, I don't know whether it is deliberate. Maybe our minister will clarify whether they have kept updating the head of state of this gap, this vacuum, because before the deployment of the late Haji Gariwango, it even took a lot of time to have an ambassador in Nairobi. I don't know whether the potential is not being felt or seeing that it can take this long to have an ambassador. We have career diplomats who are a little, when you visit some missions, they're a little idle, a little redundant, complaining of non-deployment when we are having vacuum at certain embassies.
Thank you. We don't want again two idle people. Let's get it.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for the